Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome to my Avengers Endgame spoiler review. Now we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump straight to the good stuff. So Avengers Endgame is the sequel to Avengers Infinity War. In this movie, so much crazy things are happening. The first thing I want to talk about is of course Tony's death. Now unfortunately for me, I was spoiled by a gif made by Tony snapping his fingers, which pissed me off to no end, and the person who made that, I hope you get an incurable disease. But it resulted in Tony's death, and this means there's going to be no Iron Man in the MCU. Or is there? See, I think for a while we have been thinking that maybe Riri Williams will show up, but I think that maybe Tony's daughter will pick up the mantle of Iron Man. Maybe another Iron Man film set in the future taking inspiration from Riri Williams, because the MCU doesn't always go from the comic books. They take inspiration from the comic book and then apply it to the MCU, and it makes usually a fantastic movie. I mean, that's how we got Infinity War and Endgame. They took inspiration from the comics and applied it to the MCU and made a fantastic movie. Now we also see Thor join the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you notice, Gamora is still not there. She's not on the ship with the other Guardians. Now, this Gamora is the one from the alternate timeline before Infinity War, so she has no connection to the Guardians and no reason to stay with them. We don't know much about the Guardians 3 movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if Thor shows up in the movie, or maybe he's the new Guardian for the movie, because they have to do something with Thor after Endgame. As for Thor, in Avengers Endgame, he's a shell of his former self, a choice by the directors I didn't really like too much. After a while, the sloppiness drunk Thor turned from funny to just annoying, and while I did enjoy the heart-aching moments between his mother and him, I was expecting him to bounce back after that, but he still remained the sloppy bearded gut Thor that was just annoying. But his action scenes were very cool, especially when he had the two weapons, which turned into one of the most epic moments in the MCU in my opinion. Captain America wielding Thor's hammer. My god, that scene was really good. The way he used the shield and Thor's hammer together was just overpowered and just fantastic, and he even had a callback to when Thor noticed Captain America move the hammer back in Avengers 1, stating, "I knew it." And of course, eventually Thanos got the upper hand and destroys part of Cap's shield, which at that point I thought Tony's vision was going to come true and Captain America was going to die. And speaking of the shield, how come it wasn't destroyed when he was sitting on the bench and he handed it to Falcon? It was of course complete, so why wasn't it destroyed? And also, where did the hammer go? Where did Thor's hammer go? And if the rules of every time travel movie don't apply to Endgame, why was Cap there? He shouldn't have been there. He should have been in a different timeline. Now, speaking of that scene, we see Cap hand the shield to Falcon, which means we're going to get another Captain America in the MCU. Now, whether that be in a movie or maybe he'll be a side character in another Avengers movie, who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that character. And how about that last battle scene when Cap is ready to face a huge army and Thanos by himself with a broken shield and injured arm? The camera zooms out and just the Cap versus the armor was fantastic. It was a great shot, and I honestly hope they make a poster of that, because that is definitely poster worthy and I would definitely put that up in my room. And after all that greatness, we see that epic moment when we finally see the portal open from Doctor Strange and we see Black Panther go through and we see more and more Avengers appear in other armies. That was one of the most iconic scenes in the MCU this far. Now, when you're dealing with time travel in movies, of course there's going to have to be some kind of repercussion. There has to be something that goes wrong or something that changes the current timeline that you're going to see in future movies. So I wonder what's going to happen. Maybe we see the Fantastic Four show up, or maybe we see even the X-Men show up. Which, speaking of X-Men, remember when Tony and Cap went back in time, back into the army base to get one of the stones, and a young Hank gets a call to speak to a delivery people and they say something's glowing in a box and they don't feel good? I wonder if this is how they create the first mutants. Wouldn't that be insane if that was how the first mutants appeared? And then fast forward to current time and we see mutants in the MCU. Now, of course, this would contradict the time travel rules that Endgame has set in place, but of course with Captain America they already broke it, so I don't see why they wouldn't break it again for the X-Men. Overall, Avengers Endgame was a fantastic movie, albeit with some holes and problems with characters I had, but overall it was a fantastic experience. But what did you think of Avengers Endgame? What are your theories on the MCU going forward? What do you think is going to happen with Iron Man, Captain America? Who do you think is going to be the next Iron Man? Do you think it's going to be Riri Williams? Do you think it's going to be Tony Stark's daughter? Who do you think is going to be the next Iron Man? Tell me your theories on Avengers Endgame and the MCU going forward in the comment section below. And if you want more videos like these, subscribe to the channel. And well, thanks for watching.